that is finding out the admittance from the impedance. So that is one more application. So finding the admittance. Okay, so now we know the impedance equation, that is Zin equal to, so the 1 plus gamma of x divided by 1 minus gamma of x in terms of reflection coefficient, and this gamma of x which is at any point on the transmission line or two conductor system, which is given by gamma L into e power j 2 beta x. So let us assume it is a lossless line. Okay, so where we have the load, so this is your load, and we have the position x which is varying from the load end, so where we have the length L. Okay, so now we know the impedance. Okay, so the equation in terms of the reflection coefficient. In order to find out the admittance, so just you need to take it the inverse of the Z in. So that is, if you take the inverse of the value which is known Z in, so that will get the Yn. But if you know the value of ZL, so how we can able to find out Z in or Y in by using the chart. That is what we need to find out. So now here you can see at x equal to 0, so what we will get? So we will get gamma x equal to gamma L. So now at x equal to 0, you will get gamma of x equal to gamma L. That is nothing but the load reflection coefficient. Okay, so that is at x equal to 0, so your input impedance is nothing but your, so the 1 plus gamma L divided by 1 minus gamma L, where at x equal to 0. So that is, so if I take the value of the impedance, okay, so at this load point, so the phase will be 0. Now if I put x equal to 0 here, this phase will be 0. Okay, so now we will get the admittance where we will get the phase equal to 0. Okay, so that is also, so we can see here. And now if I see the impedance at this point, okay, now at x equal to 0, if I find out the impedance at this point, how we can find out the admittance at the same point? So that we can see here. So now, so if we have the gamma x equation, so that we have already written, which is nothing but gamma L into e power j 2 beta x. Now if I substitute, so whenever we know the point ZL, after putting the value of L, so that is x equal to L, we will going to get the impedance, that is input impedance. So that is, if I put the x equal to L, so you will going to find out, so in Smith chart, first you will find out the normalized value of the impedance. Then if you traverse towards the generator by the whatever the known length L, so then you will going to get the input impedance. Okay, so now, so in order to get the admittance, so we will take this, the length of the transmission line where we have the phase 2 beta L, which is equal to pi, because so the complete transmission line, it will change its phase of pi for the, so the length which is specified here. So that is, we need to find for what length the phase change of phi which will happen. That is, so if I substitute beta, which is equal to 2 pi by lambda into L, which is equal to pi. So now we can substitute this L, or we can find out L, which is, so nothing but, so lambda by 4. That is the phase change of pi which will happen for the length of lambda by 4. So now if I have the impedance point anywhere in the Smith chart, now if I traverse the length of lambda by 4 towards the generator, okay, so that we will going to get the admittance. So that is what, how we will going to find out the admittance in the Smith chart, or you can directly find out by using the inverse of Zin. So let us find out what is the value, so how we can find out the admittance using this Smith chart. So now let us take, so we have the value of ZL, which is nothing but some 150 plus j 50, and the characteristic impedance of the line is 50 ohm. Okay, so now we need to find out what is the admittance, input admittance. So okay, so for the length which is, or we can have this ZL point, and we can find out from ZL point, even we can find out what is the YL, that is the load admittance. Okay, so now let us take the length which is equal to L equal to something like lambda by 4 itself. Okay, so now we can find out what is the input impedance as well as the input admittance. So now let us mark the normalized, the load value. Okay, so we can take the value. So the normalized load value we can see here. So we can take the normalized load value, that is ZL bar, which is equal to 150 plus J50. Okay, so this divided by 50, which is nothing but 3 plus J1. So now mark the load impedance, that is normalized load impedance, that is 3 plus J1 in the Smith chart. So now you can see here, so we have the values, the resistance values here. So this chart is both impedance as well as admittance is there. So that is, we will call it as ZY chart. Okay, so now if you have only the Smith chart, you can see the resistance part only from this side. We will be having the chart. Okay, so there is no, this side it will be there in the standard Smith chart. So now let us mark that point where ZL bar, which is equal to 3 plus J1. Okay, so now we can mark that. So everybody try to do it. So now we can see here, so this is 2 and this is 3. So I am marking that one. This is 3 and plus J1. So J1 is, so here you can see this is the J1 circle. Okay, so where it will meet the 3. Okay, so this is the value where we will get the 3. So this is the point where we will have the ZL normalized value. Okay, so now taking this radius, okay, so taking this radius, so draw the VSWR circle. Okay, so approximately we can try to draw VSWR circle. So now, so this is a normalized load value. So now if you want to find out the input admittance, so first you can take the length of lambda by 4 from the load point. So this is your load point, let us assume. So you can straight line you can put, and what is the value of the outermost circle you can see. So what is the value? So it may be approximately 0.23. Anybody got 0.23 or 0.232 like that?
0.232.
Yeah, 232. So now move towards the generator lambda by 4 distance. Okay, so lambda by 4 means it is 0.25 lambda. So that is, you have to add 0.25 to this in order to get the input impedance. Okay, so now if I add that one, so 538.4. So 0.482. So now we can find out where is the 0.482. So somewhere here. So exactly which is opposite to this side, this one. So whatever line it is there, exactly it is opposite to that line. And we have find out here the input impedance, which is normalized input impedance. Okay. So now we know, so the phase change which is happening, so at lambda by 4. Now from the input impedance point, exactly if you take 180 degree phase, so the same thing whatever you will going to get, which is nothing but Y in bar. That is the normalized admittance value. And here, so if I take from ZL point exactly opposite, so this is nothing but your YL bar. So that is actually correct, because if I take the inverse of the ZL, so you will get the YL, which is actually it is 180 degree phase, out of phase from the load point, which is equal to Z in bar. Because we are taking both lambda by 4, So that's why, so the length of the line is also lambda by 4. So since the phase change is also lambda by 4, so we are getting, so the load point itself, the normalized input point, and load admittance value, it is nothing but the normalized input impedance value. So now even we can take any other different value. So we can take this lambda by 8 itself, then we will going to get some different value. So you can observe here, so take the lambda by 8 and you can try to get the different value. So lambda by 8 means it is 0.125. Okay, so lambda by 8 means 0.125. You can take that the length of the line lambda by 8. So now we can find out what is the input impedance value. 0.357. So take that value. So and 0.357 you can take that and you can try to draw the circle. Okay, somewhere here you will going to get the impedance value, that is Z in bar. Now for this particular problem, so tell me the what is input impedance value, the normalized input impedance. So at this point you just draw exactly the straight line and find out what is the input impedance value. Anybody find out? So it may be around 0.6 or 0.7, and the reactance value which is around 1.1 or 1.2, so something around like that it will come. What is the value? Normalized input impedance value? Hello? Anybody done? See, you need to practice or you need to do, otherwise it is difficult to understand how we can do the problem. Anybody done?
So 0.7 plus 1J.
0.7 plus 1J.
1J.
Okay. So now if you take the exactly opposite to that, okay, so you will going to get the input impedance, normalized input impedance, normalized input admittance. So this is what the normalized input impedance we have got. So if I take exactly opposite to that, that is it will traverse from this point to, so till this point, so where will get this point, so till this point it will be lambda by 4. Okay, so that will give the normalized admittance. So that is what Y in bar. You can find out what is the normalized admittance. What is the value? So it may be exactly opposite, means so it gives same I think resistance circle, only the reactance it will going to change. What is the value? Anybody got it? Hello, Rishabh, Anjaragod. Okay, so that is what I told, the camera is maybe the problem. Okay, so I'll try to increase some my voice. So calculate this y in bar, so which is exactly 180 degree opposite to the z in bar. So try to point out this value. Okay, so we will going to get the normalized input impedance value. So this is how we will going to find out. So wherever you will going to find out the input impedance, so take exactly 180 degree phase or move lambda by 4 distance on the VSWR circle, you will going to get the input impedance value. That is from the input impedance, so you will going to get the input admittance value. Okay, so now let us move to the next application. So where will we having the finding out the Z max and Z min, that is determination of Z max and Z min. Okay, so wherever we will get Z max and where we will going to get the Z min, so that we will going to see. So where we have the equation for the Z in, so that is with respect to any position on the transmission line, so from the load. Okay, so if we have the length of the line L, okay, so x equal to 0 at the load side and we have moving towards the generator. So now we have the equation Z in of x which is equal to, so even we can take the normalized value. So whenever we are dealing with the Smith chart, that is Z in of x divided by Z naught. So that we can write in terms of the reflection coefficient, that is 1 plus gamma x divided by 1 minus gamma of x. Okay, so now in order to get the Z max, okay, so that is even when normalized value. Okay, so this normalized value, so we will get the maximum value whenever the phase is 0. So we have the gamma of x which is equal to gamma L into e power j 2 beta x. Okay, so let us take, so this gamma L again we can write it as which is equal to magnitude of gamma L into e power j theta. Okay, so now this e power j 2 beta x and e power j 2 theta, if I substitute here, so we will going to get the magnitude of gamma L into e power j 2 beta x into e power j theta. Okay, so this will give the magnitude of gamma L into e power j 2 beta x plus theta. So let us take this as phi. Okay, so now where we can replace this gamma x which is equal to gamma L into e power j phi. Okay, so now whenever this phase phi which is equal to 0, you will get the maximum value here, that is Z max which is nothing but 1 minus gamma L divided 1 plus gamma L divided by 1 minus gamma L. Okay, so that where it will occur when phi equal to 0. Okay, and similarly, so the Z minimum, where Z minimum occurs whenever we have phi equal to 180 degree, that is, so we will get 1 minus gamma L divided by 1 plus gamma L. So this is occurs at phi equal to 180 degree. Okay, so now whenever we have the chart, Okay, in impedance that Smith chart, we have the even normalized value you can take. Okay, so this is the minimum value and this is the maximum value. Okay, so we can write the maximum value also, normalized value, which gives 1 plus gamma L divided by 1 minus gamma L, where we have phi equal to 0, and we have gamma x which is equal to the gamma L into so e power j phi x, that is phi of x. Okay, so now where phi equal to 0, we will get the maximum value, and phi equal to 0, we will get the minimum value. Okay, so since we have the inverse relation of this one, so we can write z max normalized value which is equal to 1 over z minimum normalized value. So that is, so if you take the inverse of this, so you will going to get the normalized minimum value. Okay, so if you take the inverse of the normalized minimum value, you will going to get the normalized maximum value. So now we can see here, so when we plot the wave, okay, when the wave is transmitting from the load end, okay, so let us take the wave which is transmitting from the load end like this. Okay, so now this, if say for example maximum occurs, so first the maximum occurs from the load end, again it will, the minimum, z minimum occurs next. So now this distance between the z minimum and z maximum, so we have already known the impedance repeats for every lambda by 2. Okay, so this length where it will z max and z max occurs, which is lambda by 2, and where the distance between z max and z min will be lambda by 4. Okay, so that is how we can see in the transmission line also. And in the Smith chart, so we can see here, so if you observe, there is a phase, so there is a phase value which is here, we can see 0, 10, 15, that is the angle which is there. Okay, so now we can see the phi equal to 0. So if I take any value which is phi equal to 0, the maximum value and minimum value, phi equal to 0 and phi equal to 180, which is always on the real axis, okay, are the center of this Smith chart, the center axis of this Smith chart. So that z max and z minimum always occurs on the center line of the Smith chart. Okay, so that is what we have, z max and z min. And how we can able to find out the location, so that is z max location and z min location. So we need to move towards the generator, so where we have to arrive the phi equal to 0. Let us say, for example, in order to find for a particular problem, okay, so I need to find out z max and z min. So somewhere here my ZL is there. Let us say ZL is there. So now we have to move towards the generator in order to find out where phi equal to 0. Now in the chart we have seen phi equal to 0 on this side and phi equal to 180 degree on this side. So now this, from this point, if I move to the real, that center of the axis, real axis, you will going to get where phi equal to 0, you will get the z max which is normalized. And still if you go on moving towards the phi equal to 180 degree, where it will meet the center of the axis, you will going to get, so that z minimum normalized. Okay, so that is what you will going to find out, so that z max and z minimum position. So where we can able to read z max and z minimum, and where from the length between the load point and the maximum point, so this distance we can call it as L max. Okay, so where the z max occurs, so that distance from the load point to the z max we can call it as L max, and the distance from load point to the minimum point, so that we can call it as L minimum. Okay, so this is L max by lambda with respect to lambda, and this is L minimum by lambda. So that is what the distance from the load where z minimum and z maximum which occurs, and we have L max and L min. So now we can see, so since z max and z min, so you can take exactly which is lambda by 4 distance, so this z max and z min, so exactly which is half of this Smith chart, which is lambda by 4 distance, we can write L max so which is equal to L max by lambda, which is equal to L minimum by lambda plus lambda by 4. Now once we know lambda, so that is L max, we can directly find out by adding lambda by 4 to that, we can find out L minimum, or if we know L minimum, we can directly add lambda by 4 to that and we can find out the L maximum. So now this is how we can able to find out Z max and Z min. And where, so we have the special case where we have the load impedance which is purely resistive, that is RL. Okay, so if we have the purely resistive cases, now what happens to Z max? So now if it is a purely resistive case, okay, so where RL is greater than your characteristic impedance Z0, okay, so in this case what will happen? So we can take that Z max itself, it is equal to RL, so where RL is greater than Z max. So now L max, so we can write it in terms of lambda, that is L max equal to n times of lambda by 2, where n equal to 0, 1, 2, like that we can say. And so the first L max occurs at n equal to 0, so where L max will be 0, and Z minimum we can write it as, so which is nothing but, so we know the equation Z minimum normalized, which is nothing but Z max normalized. Okay, so now we can write Z minimum in terms of the characteristic impedances, Z minimum by Z0, which is equal to 1 over Z max divided by Z0. So now this we can write it as the Z minimum by Z0, which is equal to Z0 by Z max. So now we can find out Z minimum, the absolute value of Z minimum, by using this Z0 square by Z max. Okay, so now if the case we have taken where Z max equal to RL, so we can find out Z minimum, which is nothing but Z0 square by RL. Okay, so this is how we can able to find out, so that Z minimum which is equal to Z0 square by RL, or we can able to find out what is Z max, which is nothing but Z minimum divided by Z0 square. Okay, so even if we know the Z minimum, we can calculate the Z maximum by using this equation. Okay, now if we take the case where RL which is less than Z0, okay, so then in this case, so we can assume the Z minimum which is equal to RL. Okay, so now if I take that case, you will going to get Z max which is equal to RL by Z0 square. So in this case, the maximum will be RL by Z0 square, and so in this case the minimum will be, so this one, that is Z0 square by RL. So this is how we can able to find out the maximum impedance and minimum impedance. So now let us take one problem. So how to find out the maximum and minimum impedance from the any load point. Let us take, so this problem where we have the ZL. Okay, so now we can take ZL equal to 200 plus J, so 100 ohm. Okay, now find out Z max and Z min for this problem where we have Z0 equal to 50 ohm. Okay, so first we need to find out ZL bar, so where we have 200 plus J 100 ohm divided by 50, which is equal to 4 plus J 2. Okay, so now we can find out what is ZL bar in this. So the Smith chart, we can try to find out ZL bar, so where we have 4 plus J into 2. So try to find out, so where 4 plus J2 is there. Yeah, so try to find out where 4 plus J2 is there. We can write here, so this is what 3 and 4. So 4 plus j2, so 2 is here. So this is the point where we have the ZL bar. So now can you see? So this is ZL bar. So now, so move from load point towards the generator. Okay, so on the constant VSWR circle. So plot this radius from this point to this. Take the radius of this and plot the VSWR circle. Okay. So now move from this point to the where we have phi equal to 0. So you can see here this angle scale. So where we have the axis, the real axis, the Smith chart real axis. So here it is. So this one. This is the real axis. Now move from this point to this point. So this is what you are going to get Z max normalized. Okay. So on the length L max, you will going to get from this point to this point. So now we can take this 0.25 minus 0.235. So this is what, if you subtract from this value to this value, you will get the L max value. That is 0.015 lambda is the L max value. Now similarly, you can find out what is the Z minimum here, exactly lambda by 4 distance. So where it is meeting at the real axis, that is Z minimum normalized. So find out the value of Z minimum normalized. What is the value? Try to find out. Anybody got it?
Yeah, once again you can show sir L minimum.
What? L max?
L minimum, maximum.
Yeah, L minimum, it is from this point to this point. Either you can directly find out from ZL bar to the minimum Z normal. So that is Z minimum normal point. So that length will be L minimum. So from here to this, the real axis where it will be having. Okay, so this much distance from here to here, wherever ZL bar is there, from that point to this point. So now we can say here, so this is, so 0 or 0.5 we can have. The value, either we have 0 or 0.5 we can take. So now we can have L minimum which is equal to 0.5. So minus this value, that is 0.235. That is what L minimum we are going to get. So that is, so if I take this 0, 0, so 5 and 9 minus 3, 6, so 4 minus 2, 2. So this is 0.265 is your L minimum by lambda. Okay, so have you got it? Hello?
Yes, I got sir.
Yeah. So what is the Z minimum normalized value? What is the Z minimum normalized value? Is it 0.2? Will you get 0.2? And Z max normalized, is it 5? You're going to get Have you got it or not?
The 5.0.
5.0 is the Z max normalized value.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, you find out Z minimum normalized value where, so you are moving on VSWR circle where the real axis has phi equal to 180 degree. So 180 degrees in this axis. So here we will be meeting the point where the VSWR circle and real axis. This is Z minimum normalized. Is it point 2? So even you can cross check. So because Z max normalized which is equal to 1 over Z minimum normalized. So that we know the equation. So now if we know the Z max normalized, so we can find out Z minimum normalized which is equal to 1 over 5. So which is equal to 0.2. It should give 0.2 at this point. Okay. So is it giving 0.2? Hello, are you getting 0.2?
Sir, it's between 0.2 and 0.3, sir. When we draw VSW circle.
Between 0.2 and 0.3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe again, so here if the point or the radius whatever you are taking, if it is slightly variations is there, then it will give some slightly variation in this point also. Okay, if it is giving 5 here, so exactly it should
yes, sir. 5 it's giving 5, sir.
Yeah, if it is giving 5 here, it should exactly meet at 0.2 here because 1 over 5 is 0.2. Okay, so take that proper radius and you can plot the VSWR circle. Definitely it will meet at 0.2. Okay, so this is how we can able to find out Z minimum normalized and Z maximum normalized. So now let us take one slightly different problem to find out Z minimum and Z max itself. So now take this one. So the gamma which is given, the reflection coefficient which is given 0.5 at an angle 50 degree. Okay, so the gamma which is given, the reflection coefficient. Now from this reflection coefficient, find out Z in, Z max, Z minimum and L max and L minimum. So we have given only the reflection coefficient value. You have to find out all these things. What is the input impedance, what is the maximum impedance, minimum impedance and corresponding length. How we are going to find out? So first we need to plot gamma equal to 0.5 at an angle 50 degree. So now you can see here, so the gamma scale it is here, it is there. Okay. So now take the radius is 0.5. So from 0 to take this 0.5. So this much radius you have to take. Okay. Or project. So take the scale and project here. So exactly at this 0 to 0.5. Okay. If you project it, so you will get this much radius. And you can take that radius and you plot the circle, VSWR circle or the reflection coefficient circle. Okay. So now we got the gamma which is equal to 0.5 radius exactly, and the same 0.5 radius it should come here. Okay, so this is the value where we have 0.5 and 0.5. Now we can see the angle which is given at 50 degree. Now from this point which is 0 here, so take 50 degree angle. Okay, so where we have, so 50 degree here. So now from this point, so take the line and mark it as, that is draw the straight line between the center of the axis to the 50 degree, and where it meets the point, so this will be having your input impedance. Okay, so let us take this as nothing but the gamma in, because even sometimes they will give gamma out also, that is gamma L also. Let us take the problem which is gamma in. Okay, so now we have, so gamma in we have plotted, so where this point gives the normalized input impedance. So is it understood how we can find out the input impedance from the gamma? So that we have seen already yesterday. Now once we know the input impedance, the normalized input impedance, now from that point to, we have to come out to the real axis, so we will going to get the Z max normalized. Okay, and similarly you can move lambda by 4 distance, you will going to get the lambda by 4. So that is minimum normalized impedance, and the corresponding length from here to here it is L max, and here to this point it is L minimum. So is it clear? Anybody, any doubt? How we can find out Z max, Z min, L max and L min? Hello, understood everyone? Namita? Hello? Namita got it? Prithviraj, Rushali?